Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the show. Appreciate it. Yes, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's going to be checking out the show. I do appreciate y'all coming to rock with a brother on this day. Make sure you do say hello so we can acknowledge you. Thank you so much for showing up to the show. Appreciate that, appreciate that, appreciate that. Let me go ahead and claim fair use here for the videos that I'm going to play because they're going to be for educational purposes. Let's see. Yes, so make sure you say hello so we can acknowledge you. What's up, Ranger 1991? Appreciate you coming on here. Rhonda, hello to you. And yes, everyone, please follow Rhonda's advice, whether you're watching this now or watching it in the future. Please make sure that you hit the like button on your way in. Also, we have a poll that's going on here. Only a couple of votes going on so far. So I don't know if you are able to view the polls after the show is over. But anyway, if you can't view the polls after the show is over, then just chime in on what your thoughts are. So I got 4 different options for the poll. And the question is, for a man to get married he should, I spelled that out, I messed that all up. For a man to get married, he should A, either have a prenup, B, do something and have an alternative such as a spiritual commitment or spiritual commitment ceremony or spiritual ceremony. Man up and just sign the license. Stop worrying about it. Let the chips fall where they may. Go ahead and roll the dice. And the last one is forget marriage in the West. I was going to say in the U.S., but those are the options there. So if you can't see the poll later on, make sure you hit that on your way in, or at least type it in the chat if you're going to watch the review of this. Answer the poll in the question as well. Yes. Ranger Garrett makes no difference. Okay. Oh, is that you, Ranger 1991? Garrett as well? Jayla, how you doing? Appreciate you coming up. Honestly, the poll is for men only because women aren't men and they're not going to the ones offering marriage commitment. Well, I think that they could chime in to answer the question, what should a man do? If they want marriage, if the ladies want marriage, and say, okay, I would be okay with saying I want a commitment ceremony. They should get a prenup if they're worried about it. They should just man up and sign a license, or they can even also say to themselves, forget about getting married in the West and just do something differently. So hit that like button on your way in. All right, we're not going to be here all day. I realize it is Thanksgiving week. People are prepping and getting and cooking and all this different types of stuff. And so I'm not going to hold you guys. I ain't going to hold you guys, right? So what I wanted to do first is again, along with the theme of what we're going to be talking about today is, is marriage worth it? And I was watching a video last night with the lead attorney, and it was one of the clips, I should say. And I wanted to kind of highlight that, but I want to review that. It's like 13 minutes long, not too long. Excuse me for a second here. I got to sneeze. I feel a sneeze coming on. All right. And if I didn't pause it, if I didn't hit the mute button, it would have, right. But it's phrased, what should men do? So it'd be more women telling men what they should or should not do. Well, I'm interested to hear I'm interested to hear their commentary, in all honesty. I want to know, what would you have your brother do? Knowing the framework I hear your point, Garrett, but I think that this goes both ways. Um, I hear your point, but what would a woman tell her brother to do, her son to do, her nephew to do, her father to do, given the current state of affairs within a Western system? I think it's a completely legitimate question for ladies to answer as well. Be honest with yourself and look at what's out there to choose from. Look at the what could happen financially, and ask yourself, would you want your son to go through all that? I think it's a legitimate question. Of course, the results would be skewed by women having different opinions in their favor. Well, I mean, this I'm asking for honest commentary, not about what your own self to do. Try to think outside your point, outside of yourself, what you want from a man. Yeah, I want marriage, so I think married man should get married. Understand the framework that we've been painting in the manosphere space that I've talked about in this channel. Things that are going on between men and women. You know, high risk of divorce, high risk of losing things, and ask yourself an honest question: would you be okay with with your son, your nephew, your godson, your brother, your father, your uncle going through this type of nonsense? Just it's a simple question. I think it's a simple question. All right, so first thing I want to play here is a little bit of the debate between Andrew Wilson and Coach Greg Adams. Coach CGA, is marriage worth it? And this is going to become relevant because because you're trying to answer the question, where do we go to get these answers? I'm going to play the video, obviously, but in the debate, there was a section of the debate, which I'm about to play right now, is Andrew Wilson. Andrew Wilson is unaware of how how do I want to say this here? He's unaware of how how divorce or family court laws actually go down. You don't have to have, if a woman is wants to somehow get money out of a man in a cohabitating type of environment or experience, relationship, then she has to go to family court to do that. Whether she has a marriage license or not, that's where she has to go. This is how it's going to be found out. This is where she has to go, and this is the question you have to ask. So that's why I wanted to highlight this particular video. And Andrew Wilson is unaware that in order to get this, in order for a woman or man, doesn't matter, to get any type of thing, even if they don't have a marriage contract, then that's going to be important, because where do you go in order to solve these type of disputes? So that's why I wanted to answer. Say hello to some more people. What's up, Chance Rogers? Appreciate you coming up or showing up. If I had a son, I would suggest pre-marriage counseling and take a serious look at the financial side. Okay, very good. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Marriage is a scam. Women play on it these days. Okay, okay. Jayla, what is the financial upside for men to offer a marriage to a woman? RP in the building. Okay, okay. Make sure y'all hit the poll that will answer these questions. All right, so let's play a little bit of this here.
You can't even give me a number. You couldn't even give me a number. You can't even give me a number. You said that.
Nobody said that the pastors are going to go in the bedroom and enforce anything.
Okay, social pressure.
Stop lying.
All your social
Just
pressure.
stop lying,
Hey, listen. Where's your social pressure? How many people do you have in your ecclesiastic marriages? How many people got married under that?
Millions.
Please give me a number.
Millions of people have an ecclesiastical authority.
Go ahead and type it up.
People have an ecclesiastical marriage. They may have a state cert also.
Under your scenario.
What do you want me to type?
Yeah, we don't.
How many?
We don't know.
Exactly.
We don't know exactly.
But you're sneezing at my number, but you don't know at all.
We know for
sure.
Listen,
there's a lot
that
you don't
even
know.
if it was the case that you never adopted the state,
but you don't have any number.
Even if it's the case, hang on.
Where's the number?
Hang on. Even if it's the case that all they ever did was get a state marriage certificate and never even followed that portion of what I'm saying, right?
I just want to get to the point about, to your point here, Jayla. Oh Lord, not these two. I just want to get to the point where they're talking about, you know, where these types of disagreements, commitment ceremonies, spiritual ceremonies, where are they settled at? Because that's going to become important when we get to the lead attorney's video that we're going to show in a little bit. So I'm kind of setting the stage here, but I get it. I don't particularly want to watch these two either, but we'll get to it.
the number is still lower by the state's own numbers. It's still lower in traditional churches.
Can you give me a number of your marriages that you're proposing that we're all going to follow?
We don't know. We don't have polls on it yet.
You don't have a number.
Yeah, we don't know for sure.
I would venture to say it's very little, under 100.
Sure.
All right. So now we got.
No, it's not under 100.
Okay, certainly under 100.
No, it's not.
All right. I don't hear anybody talking about it other than you.
Yeah, well, that's because you're not around traditional churches by your own admission. But yeah, there's people who have crowning ceremonies and get married by churches who don't get a state cert.
Traditional churches.
In fact, there might be data on that. You should look.
Please look it up.
There might be
under your scenario.
Yeah, under my scenario. But the thing is that even if we were to
got 125
even
marriages.
if we were to grant it,
yes,
still from the state's own admission, the divorce rate's still significantly lower for a reason.
20 to 30%. Okay, so
that's
it's
huge.
Still lower. It is nice.
Significantly
It would
lower.
be nice. You still have men under unsettling divorce conditions. You still have men under state-funded divorce. You still have men under child support. You still have men under.
Garrett says, after reviewing it, they both had good points, but the philosophical difference is the point. Yeah, I agree with that. That they weren't either one of them were not really answering each other's question. Well, I think CGA was more not answering the question of the debate, I should say. Andrew Wilson is in what if world that does not exist, but would be nice. CGA is operating in today's reality. Yeah, and that's where they were missing each other at.
Until alienation, you still have sexist marriages.
2 out of 10.
You haven't accomplished most of these.
2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. What?
That would be 2 out of 10. It's 20%, right? It's 2 out of 10 of those marriages, as opposed to your system.
4 out of 10.
Yeah, in your
5
system,
out of 10.
In your system, it's much higher.
It's the system that exists.
No, it's not.
But you're telling me 150 marriages. This is all of these scenarios. I have to be honest with you. This wasn't much of a debate.
Yeah, I know.
Listen, much of your scenarios were make believe. To be honest with you, they were pretty make believe. Mm-hmm. You would have to have an extremely considerable movement to be able to accomplish them.
Like millions of people.
You would have to have millions of people to do.
Can you pull up how many Catholic and Orthodox are in the United States?
Listen.
It's my turn to ask. I can ask him.
Please do. But that's not the number I'm looking for. That's not
the number we're looking for.
We're looking for ecclesiastic marriages under your scenario.
No, listen. Even if it were the
way it works for you.
Even if it were the case, do you agree with me that if you take the state out of marriage, that is going to assist in the reduction of divorce?
We can't take the state out of marriage.
Why not?
That's what you're telling me.
Why
tell me how many people have done it?
Yeah, but why can't you do it?
Because no fault divorce, a woman can go into divorce you, even if because you're not under her control.
How if you're not married to her? By the state, you're not married. How can she take you to divorce court?
This is where it becomes relevant at. Now they're talking about the divorce court. How do we answer these different types of questions? Hey, out of sight, out of mind. Thank you so much. Here's where it gets good at least what I want to highlight.
Explain that to me.
I asked you this earlier. Have you been through a divorce?
It doesn't matter.
No,
answer the
yes.
question.
That's a yes. So you've been through a divorce.
Why does that matter?
Right,
what is it pertinent to the debate?
This is why.
I don't know why he didn't answer the question. Just answer the question. There's another video. I had thought about doing it, but I don't want to keep highlighting these two. But there's another video of Andrew Wilson debating a lady on this other channel called the Whatever Podcast. And I think it's after this one. I'm pretty sure it's after this one. And the woman on there says, you're a guy who's divorced and you married a woman who is being Rachel Wilson, his current wife. He married a woman who is who had 3 kids by 3 different men or something like that. Obviously not the traditional marriage that he is advocating for, or the religious ecclesiastical marriage that he's advocating for. And then he goes off on her in a real, and he starts calling her a B, and really, really unchristian like behavior that he purports to extend to people, or his philosophy of life, or whatever. And I don't know why that should be so triggering for him. He should just say, "Listen, here's the decision I made, and we all have pasts. Christianity is all about forgiveness. We're looking at this now. We don't want other people to make the same mistakes that we made." I don't know why he just doesn't answer it like that. But to go off on this other woman and call her a B and all this kind of stuff was just lowbrow, in my opinion. I'll see if I can find that video.
Can I finish? You've been telling me I'm cutting you off. You won't let me finish.
Bro, I want an answer to my question.
There we go again.
Can you answer my question?
I mean, I can play the game you're playing.
You just won't answer questions.
Jeez. All right, listen. I mean, I thought you were a tough guy. Listen, under this scenario, a marriage, even if it's ceremonial, religious, it doesn't matter if she files for the divorce, you will still be going in court to fight that.
I don't care. You file for divorce if you're not married by the state, dude.
Listen,
can you answer my question?
You're completely missing this. This is what tells me you haven't been through one. Have you talked to a divorce attorney? A woman can file. You have to respond and provide evidence that you were not married. Now, you and your common law, you living with your kids, it's going to be difficult. I'm trying to give you some information.
That's common law marriage.
Okay.
That's different. In some states, there is no common law marriage. So
that's not common law marriage.
So just answer
Listen,
one. Okay.
California doesn't even have common law, and that exists. It could be ceremonial. You could get married in Fiji. It doesn't matter. As soon as you get back here, if you practice marriage, the whole institution at that particular point, if she files, you, sir, will have to respond to that suit.
Yeah.
If you do, I would hope and pray that the judge, not God, grant you your wish. At that point, your argument fails because you then would have to say, my ecclesiastic reverend on the little house on the prairie granted this marriage, but it doesn't count under the state.
I didn't want to make
sure she can do this, and you have to respond.
Can you help me with this? Because I am actually confused. So let's say a woman and a man went out to a field and declared themselves married.
We got a scenario. Let's say if
a man went out to a field with a woman and declared that they're married.
Correct.
You're saying she can still go to a divorce court and divorce him.
She can file for the divorce.
How?
You have to respond.
Right. And that's the point that I wanted to kind of get to. You have to respond to it. She can go anywhere she wants. Anybody can sue anybody at any time, unless it's criminal court or civil court. Civil court is, you got a property dispute over your fence and all this type of stuff, right? So if you're going to talk about family issues, you have to take her to divorce court, family court, and ask her and ask the judge to render a decision about whether we were married or not, whether I'm owed anything after being in this cohabitating relationship or not. That's the point. So Andrew Wilson doesn't get that. That's the place where you have to go. We were living together for 10 years. I changed my last name. I was wearing rings. He was wearing a ring. We introduced each other as husband and wife. If that's the type of relationship that you're in, even though you haven't physically signed the paperwork with the state, that's where you would have to go to get that question answered. And Andrew Wilson just doesn't seem to clock that. I don't know.
Yeah, with what? Respond. Yeah, what does that mean though? That doesn't mean
again. I'm informing you. What does that mean? This is how a lawsuit works.
Okay,
she's a petitioner. Okay. She files. She says we walked on coals. We went outside.
Yeah.
This was a union. I consider it a marriage. Everybody knows and addresses us as a marriage.
Yeah.
This is in non-common law states. We receive mail at this place. We've been living under the same roof for this many years. You will have to respond to these allegations. Now you're going to have to say on your petition, this is not true. We have an ecclesiastic marriage and a prenup under God, and we live together, but we weren't married. That's a response to the lawsuit, and then you proceed to trial and a hearing.
Is this a lawsuit or a divorce?
Divorce is a lawsuit.
Okay, so I'm curious.
Divorce is a lawsuit.
Can you look this up? Can you file for divorce without ever getting married?
Oh my God.
All right. So, I mean, he's just wrong about that. He's just wrong about that. Now, I am not a lawyer, never been in law school. However, being in the police department, we often had to, make these referrals to different people. We would have people come in from the family court system, from the criminal court system, from the probate court system to do trainings about us because people don't know where to go. And so we'd have to tell them where to go. And in dealing with domestic violence, intimate partner violence, and all that type of thing, we had to tell people where to go in order to solve their issues. So that's my familiarity with this, and that's why I can say in this particular point that Coach Greg Adams was 100% correct. So there is a poll. If you go to let's see here, where is this at? It should be right there, and you should see it in the chat there. Just click on it. I can't see it from your end, but it should say for a man to get married, he should, and then there's a bunch of different options: have a prenup, get a commitment ceremony, or spiritual ceremony. The third option is man up and just sign a license. Just roll the dice and go ahead. And the fourth option would be marriage in the West. So if you, those are the four options, you just click on and hit one of those. It should come up and populate and register your vote. If you're watching this in the future, make sure number one, you hit the like button. And number two, just give us your thoughts. Again, A, B, C, and D. A, get a prenup. B, do a spiritual commitment ceremony. C would be man up and just sign a license. Or D, forget marriage in the West altogether. So those are the options. It's not a good return on investment. If women cut marriage from the list of wants, no marriage, no contract, become ladies, etc., they might just get a great guy. I may do a video later on this week talking about women just don't want to get married. I mean, that is low on their list. That is extremely low. I was actually going to do it about Gen Z. I might do that later on this week, maybe Friday or Saturday. Maybe Saturday. We'll shoot for that. Yeah, maybe Saturday we'll do that. I gotta think. Anyway, so that should be that. Yeah, there's a lot of deflecting going on. I'm asking what your vote would be. That's a good question. I would probably say get a marriage or commitment ceremony. I don't have any problem with being partnered up with one person for the rest of my life. I definitely want that. I just don't want the state involved. I would say, or get a prenup. I mean, if you really want marriage, again, it depends on what stage you are in life. And for me, 52, I mean, I'm not having any more kids. What I'm asking, I'm genuinely asking the question, what is the purpose and benefit of marriage to me? Whatever I have achieved, I want to go to my kids, my house, my assets. I don't have a lot. But whatever I have, I want my kids to get that. And I just don't see the tangle of all that. So if I did a spiritual or commitment ceremony, I would take out have something written up for my last days, or if something happens to me where I'm incapacitated somehow. I think my kids would do right by me, but if she wanted the power to say, pull the plug or something like that, I don't even know if that's possible. I still have to look into that. And again, if she's not going to be the beneficiary of any of my assets, what would be the benefit of her pulling the plug? And also, I would take out life insurance, particularly if we live together. Right? I would take out life. I wouldn't want her to be okay. We would take out life insurance policies on each other, particularly if we start living together. Right? We got mortgages and other bills and stuff. Okay, I want her. She start to depend on my particular income. So I would take that out. That would be my thought. That's my thought process going forward. Again, I'm trying to do more research on this, which is why I had the lead attorney on. So those are things that I'm considering. The more assets, the higher reputation, et cetera, a man has, the more adverse he is going to be to marriage. Yeah, well, I can't disagree with that. I'm 46 and happily divorced, but marriage isn't off the table. But dating isn't like it used to be. That is the problem we're all running into. Out of sight, out of mind. Dating is not what it used to be. It's just absolutely crazy. But marriage isn't off the table. So would you be okay with the commitment ceremonies, or any of the things about that? What would be your thought process about that, out of sight, out of mind? And tell us why. Is marriage something you absolutely need? And I've run into some people who are saying that marriage is an absolute need. And again, if it's for me, I'm just not buying the religious aspect to the argument. I have this debate with Anita. We still debate it. Like, okay, I just don't understand why marriage, why that piece of paper codifies marriage in your eyes, or even religiously. And just go before as Coach Greg Adams said, we walked across hot coals. You have your minister pray over you. You have a nice party or whatever. Why do you need to have that? Why do you need to have the government involved? Marriage existed. This might sound crazy, but marriage existed prior to the Western philosophy in the creation of the United States, before Britain, before all these different places, or different philosophical underpinnings of the state being involved in marriage. Marriage was a thing. So why do you need that? I just don't understand that from a religious perspective. So asking myself, do I even want to get married? That's a good question. More like relationship at best. No license, just together, and trust that that's enough. because there will be no more. Yeah. 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 All right. So let me see. I think I found that particular. So that's what I want to play for that one. That's a little bit of a warm up video here. So let me add this one to the screen here. I think I found the video of Andrew Wilson going off on this lady, which was really, really distasteful. But you'll see this. I think this is it. I think this is it. So this says death of the red pill. Andrew Wilson gets destroyed by lesbian feminist like live on whatever podcast. So we're going to play a little bit of this. I hope that this is just the part. I'm not going to play the whole thing here. I just want you guys to hear him go off on this.
To understand them.
So Andrew, can I sell you on my worldview?
Yes.
Your wife has 3 baby daddies and has been married twice before.
And you
under
you lick sniz.
Under your religion.
You lick sniz.
What is that?
You're a fucking dyke. Don't talk shit about my wife, you stupid bitch. Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your stupid bitch mouth.
Your wife with the 3 baby.
What did I just say?
Your
Dyke?
wife with the 3
Sorry,
baby
I'm sorry,
daddies?
dyke. Is she morally inconsequential in comparison to your ditch licking?
Do the men that you try to
Do the women that you try
show
to?
your hatred against
the women that you try
convince them
to?
that they shouldn't?
You know,
like,
Charlie, did I
pursue
bring
women? Do they know
Charlie?
that
Did I bring
wife
your
is 5
family?
years older?
Did I bring any of your
You called
family
me
into
fucking
anything?
stupid.
Did I
You
say anything
called me
about
fucking
your
stupid.
family being stupid, Charlie?
could.
It's
You could
because
go
I'm
for it.
better than you, Charlie.
No, it's because you're embarrassed, and you know that the traditional values that you try to sell people on
Okay.
are bullshit because
Let's
you
go
are not
through
a
it.
traditional man.
Chuck, let's go through it.
You are not a traditional
Let's
man.
go through.
You know how when some women get upset,
So I just want to play a little clip there. I mean, that's just him getting, I guess, getting owned. I guess getting owned, and just really, all she was doing was confronting him with his own thoughts and ideas and opinions, and and then this Christian man who's pushing Christian morality and values and this idea of traditional marriages, just pointing it out. That's all she did was point it out. So yeah, I've seen this horrible. Yeah. Women want marriage because of security and require the paper because the government is a bail in case anything goes wrong. She doesn't get what she wants. Well, I definitely agree with that. Yeah. That was definitely something else. He got triggered right out of the gate. Yeah. Never heard of those slurs before. LOL. Where did he pull those names from? I never heard of him either. And hopefully I'll never hear of him again. So y'all make sure you hit the like button. I just want to play that a little bit. So that just, I mean, to me, and this is the problem that so many people have when you start bringing in religion into everything. You can start getting triggered and all this type of stuff. Not now, every religious person or every person of faith certainly would not handle a situation like that. But that was so distasteful, so unnecessary, so gutter. And for him to be espousing Christ and saying the whole world should take on his Christian worldview and all this type of thing. And if we had a Christian marriages, everything would be so much better. But then you see how this man reacts to a woman that he doesn't know, or at least that he agreed to be on a debate with, and starts name calling and all that kind of stuff. And that was just trash behavior. So yeah, absolute garbage. If you can get someone into their emotions and they're an emotional person, you've already won. Yeah. That was wild. He got triggered instantly. And all she did was ask him about his life. I mean, if I was on a panel like that and somebody said, hey, listen, you're over here talking about marriage and stuff. You've been married, you've been divorced twice. I got to answer the question. Got to be upfront about it. And he should be upfront about that. He should have been upfront when Coach Greg Adams asked, have you been divorced before? He should have been upfront about, that should be the first thing. That should be the first thing you put on the table is, listen, I'm out here speaking about my experiences, my past. I've been divorced before. I've got, my wife now has 3 kids by 3 different men. Just answer the question and put it out there so nobody else can insult you, right? It should be fairly well known. That shouldn't even been a problem. Make sure you hit the like button, A Peace with Joy, and if you can't leave, if you got to leave right now, make sure you do the poll right now. Yeah, he went deep. Yeah. All right, so that was that. All right, so we're gonna get into the clip here, the main event for the afternoon here. Let me see. Let me close some of these windows here. All right, let's see here. We'll do the lead attorney Andrew corrects. There we go. All right, so this is the lead attorney. This is like a 13-minute video here, and we'll speed it up a little bit just to kind of get through this. And he is doing a reaction to Andrew Wilson having a discussion with Pearl Davis. Pearl Davis to me is a grifter. Pearl Davis to me is a grifter. If you're not familiar with who she is, but I'm not going to go into all that. But she is a grifter, and she comes from a privileged background, and daddy's rich, and she goes off on different people, and she's gone off on black folks a couple of times. So you guys can go over and watch her stuff, but I refuse to watch it. Anyway, so here we go. This is Coach Greg. This is the lead attorney doing a review of Pearl and Andrew Wilson, the same guy who we just saw go off. So we'll play a little bit here. Make sure you hit the like button, y'all.
Prenups are an answer. Pearl says no, they're not a good answer because you are going to be dragged to court. Andrew responds, no, you're not going to be dragged to court, and I'm going to show you the fallacy in your argument. So let's listen to the fallacy.
Then for resources, you're not going to get dragged to court. This is the issue, right? Like this is a performative contradiction. Here's how.
He's explaining it.
Because you say that women are reliant upon these men for resources. That's what women are getting out of it. So why is it if you had a prenup, they're not going to get resources? Why would they drag them to court?
All right. Andrew says, if you've got a prenup, why would a woman drag a man to court if you got a prenup? This is astounding.
So again, remember the video I first played. I don't know if this video was before his interaction with Greg Adams or after it, but he didn't learn his lesson. So the lead attorney is going to expose this here.
I'm going to ask you guys this. Why would a woman, if she signed a prenup in 2010, why would a woman drag the man to court in 2025 in the divorce? Does anybody know? Andrew has no idea. He is correcting Pearl. He says, if a woman has a prenup, she will not take you to court. That's incorrect. That's incorrect. Not his fault. He's not a divorce attorney. How would he know? That's not his fault at all. Why would a woman take you to court if she has a prenup? All right. Let me see. I saw a lot of y'all did not get the answer, but put a 1 in the chat if you did get the correct answer. A woman will take you to court if she has a prenup for one reason and one reason only. There's a word for it. Starts with a C, not that word. To contest. To contest the prenup. To contest the prenup. What does that mean? She knows that she signed the prenup, but she wants to get it thrown out, even though she signed it. And why does she want it to get thrown out? Shout out to our man Ant Banks, to get more. I need more. You said I could put the tip in, and I did, but now I need a little more. That's right. No, I mean, with your consent. I mean, por favor. I'm not just gonna, but I need more. I'm gonna ask. I need your permission, but I need more. Andrew does not understand, apparently, that women will absolutely contest the prenup to get it thrown out. Yeah, in the prenup, you said you were going to give me $20,000 upon the dissolution of the marriage. I want that thrown out, and now I want the $400,000. I want access to the $400,000 retirement, the $400,000 401k. I want access to the $400,000 home equity that we got. It's not fair. I've been living in this house for 14 years. I gave you 3 kids. You gave me 3 kids. I gave you 3 kids. Can I have custody? No, those are my kids. They came out of my body. I thought, but should I get fucked up real quick? So women will absolutely contest the prenup to get more.
He's saying women, but I would assume that if a guy was making less than his woman was a primary bread earner, and he signed a prenup, I'm assuming that the guy would try to do the same thing. You know, if he thinks he's getting a raw deal. But again, where do you take it to? Even if you got a prenup, you got to take it to family court. That's just my assumption.
Now, put a 1 in the chat if you got the answer. This is even more difficult. A lot of y'all did not get that, but some of y'all did. Ant got it. Shout out to Ant. What do you do if you're a man to try to stop the woman from taking you to court? Does anybody know to contest the prenup? Does anybody know? What do you do to try to stop the woman? Man, y'all are in there needs to be like a first year family law class. Y'all are all my students. I am Professor Lead. Mucho gusto. So y'all are all in my family law first year class in law school. What do you do to stop a woman from contesting the divorce, contesting the prenup. Post dad said be nice. Now, this is not.
Before we get to that, here, make sure you go over to the poll, answer the poll. There's 4 different options for the poll. And again, if you're watching this in the future, make sure you answer the poll. For a man to get married, he should A, have a prenup, B, have a commitment ceremony or spiritual ceremony. That is, stay away from the state sponsored marriage. 3 is or C would be man up and just sign the license. And D would be forget marriage in the West. Put your answer in there and about what your thoughts and opinions are. And we'll continue on with the lead attorney here.
The answer that I'm looking for, but I'm going to give it an A. I'm going to give it an A for effort. A for effort, because being nice to the woman will always help. Always help. So this is not the correct answer, but it does get an A because you will never go wrong if you are trying to be nice.
I don't agree with that. Now, for him as a divorce attorney to say just be nice and hopefully she won't do X, Y, and Z, she won't. I don't agree with that. I can tell you again, I'm not a lawyer. I certainly haven't seen the amount of cases that he or any other divorce attorney can show you. But I can tell you, and I have personal friends. I have friends who have been through the ringer, and they were nice, trying to give them everything, and they still. The more nice they were, the more stuff they try to give, the more they. Custody arrangements, money arrangements wasn't enough, and they kept extracting more. So I don't agree with that being nice. And again, those are from my anecdotal experiences from my friends, and I also have some from my time in the police department where we had documents. I let her do this, I let her do that. I forego my day of watching the kids, or just so she could take the kids to Miami and all that type of stuff, and they still wanted more. So I don't agree with that. Just being nice. I'm gonna tell you right now. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but they say that the marriage is a business. You better treat divorce like a business too. I don't like saying that. I'm not advocating for that, but you got to get what you got to get. I have friends. I could tell you stories about the amount of money they had to pay, and they were giving their wife nice stuff, good stuff. Keep the car, keep the house, keep this, keep that. I'll pay for this. I'll pay for that. Just come and the judge went along with it, obviously, and when you look back on it, they got decimated financially. By being nice, being Christian, being it'll come back to me, this, that, and the other. I think you wrote that here, Ranger. Probably not, because arguably most men still have some element of shame and morality. We just wipe our hands and walk away, right? This whole wiping of the hands type of thing. I'm telling you right now, you can get decimated if you're not nice. And I don't like saying that, but you got to go for self. If marriage is a business, and unfortunately, divorce is a part of that business. So move accordingly.
To stop the woman, Jeff says show up. No. Post dad is on game. A lot of these women. A for effort. Your boy is Professor Lee. All right. What do you do to try to stop the woman from from contesting the prenup? Mediation? No. That's not the answer. Don't get married. All right. Give her a good day. All right, you guys are wilding out. I don't see the answer. Give her time to review. Shout out to Fit. No, this is not the answer, baby. Fit is an amazing and excellent criminal defense attorney, also personal injury. If you get hurt, and these damn Krogers that they shutting down, you need someone to sue Krogers. You get into a car accident, you need to go and get your $2 million like everybody else. Please go give Fit a call. No, this is not what you do to try to stop a woman from contesting the divorce, the prenup. Sue her before she sues you. No. This is hard, so I'm gonna tell you how to do it. I'm gonna tell you how to do it. To disincentivize the woman from taking you to court to try to get more. Here's what you do. In the same prenup, you put a little clause in there. You put a little paragraph. This is not legal advice. I'm retired. All right. Don't come to me. Y'all be, hey, Lead, I want you to draft my prenup. I will not draft it. A lot of y'all want me to review your prenups. I'll review them. Y'all set up your little consults. My website's in the link below. You can set it up, but I'm not going to draft your prenup. All this is for information. But you put
W Dave Z6C. Says Dr. L, I love this episode on your podcast. When did Black people in this country, the most powerful, innovative, industrial country on the planet, start getting prenuptial agreements? Really? I don't know the answer to that. I'm not a lawyer, but I would say it's got to be since we've moved into more middle and upper class, since we started getting access to, more money, be it what's that term there, pensions. When they start, dividing up half your pension, 401ks, acquiring houses, all that became a thing. All that became a thing. And I would say, my great aunt, she's gone now, but I can remember, and I was a young guy when she was telling the story about it. But she was, she was my grandmother's sister, my great aunt, and her husband was a drunk, and she divorced him, and because of that settlement, and I don't know where they worked at or whatever, she ended up was able to buy a 3-family house with that settlement. She was able to buy a 3-family house with that settlement. And again, where I live in the Northeast, Black folks had, because of the wars and stuff, had access to some factory jobs. So my grandfather, grandmother, and I don't know, my great aunt worked, but a lot of Black folks had access to that. And so, so once you start getting access to that, and you start seeing people lose their stuff, you got a $50,000 pension, which you can live on the rest of your life if you live, moderately, and this, that, and the other. And the judge is going to be like, oh no, well, 25 of that needs to go to somebody else. You better run to that divorce court lawyer and get yourself a prenup. You better run over there and get that. You got assets and 401ks and a house and properties, right? Let's just say you own your own house, and you got 3-family house or a duplex or something like that you're renting out as a secondary source of income. You decide to get married, you better run to that divorce lawyer. Do not be stupid. Do not be stupid. Run to that divorce lawyer. Is this a sign of how we lost our relationships, ourselves in relationships? I think it's how we lost ourselves in Americanism. Malcolm X talked about that, right? These Black folks want to move up so they can become more Americanized. That's not one of his more famous speeches, but he definitely said it, right? So the more you get involved, and the more assets you have, the more stocks you get, and the more acclimated and accustomed and ingrained in the system you are, you got to become a part of it. And if you want to protect your assets, you got to become a part of it. I get that there is such an unemotional relationship in asking this question about prenups. I hear it. It's unromantic. It's just it's unromantic. It's unloving. It's uncaring. It seems so selfish. And if you're going to get into a marriage, you want to be unselfish. But at the same time, you can't risk losing everything that you worked for and built up. You can't risk that. So you better protect yourself. You better protect your assets, male or female. You better do it. It's unfortunate. I don't like thinking like that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But again, when I tell these stories about my friends who got hurt and divorced, and I got divorced twice and I didn't lose anything, I'm really happy about that. Believe me, I'm happy about that. But you can't. The people I talk about, my friends, these stories I give, these are all Black folks who lost a lot. And I have friends today who are still paying the mortgages. I have friends, more than one, who are still paying mortgages on homes that they don't live in. I have friends today who are still paying mortgages on homes that they don't live in today. Me tapping my thing here messed up my camera. Why did that happen? Oh, there it is. So you better protect yourself. You better protect yourself at all times. China just came out with a female robot and named it. I can't wait to see those mass-produced and affordable for men worldwide. Yeah. Women choose the bear, so men will take the inanimate object over women. Yeah. Protect yourself by being a brilliant husband. Well, there you go. There you go. Let's hear what the lead attorney got to say. Professor Lee.
A paragraph in the prenup, and you say, all this is for information, but you put a paragraph in the prenup and you say, if anyone contests the prenup, then they have to pay the attorney's fees of the other person should they lose. Now, if you don't have that in there, the woman might say, well, shit, it's worth it for me to try. And she might not want to pay her attorney's fees, but she'll do it. But she knows that if she has to pay hers and she has to pay yours, and she's gonna lose 99% of the time, I ain't gonna do it. Because women and money, they don't, they'll spend it on them damn Michael Kors bags. They'll spend it on the damn fake Van Cleef bracelets. They will. They'll go out.
Why they gotta be fake Van Cleef bracelets? Why they gotta be fake?
To brunch at Toast on Lennox and spend $375 for some crappy food. But they are not trying to pay your attorney's fees. They'll pay theirs, but they are not trying to pay yours. So that is a main way to disincentivize. And if you want to be aggressive, I'm not saying you should, but if you want to be aggressive, you can say, hey, man, here's $50,000. But if you contest it, you're only going to get 20. And you got to pay my attorney's fees. Now you're being aggressive. I wouldn't be that aggressive, but I would absolutely.
Yeah, I can't imagine being not aggressive because that's going to get thrown out. And, again, I'm not an attorney. It's not legal advice. I can't give it because I've never been to law school. But I've heard that the more aggressive you try to get, the more likely it's going to be thrown out. Well, we can't honor this. This is crazy. You start throwing stuff in there, and your attorney should know this. So you got to get a competent attorney.
Put in that you have to pay my fees. You want to take me to court? Let's go. You're paying my fees. Let's see what we're talking about, right? So that's how you do it. Q Lowe says reduce.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, you can't reduce child support. Child support, if you put child support if you go to an attorney and they try to put child support and you suggest it in there and they don't tell you we can't put this in there, then you need to walk out of the attorney's office because the child support is dictated by the states, the individual states, and it's what's in best interest of the child. They're going to determine the child support and they're going to determine custody. So don't start. I wouldn't even walk down those paths.
Lowe says if you take me to court, these kids ain't eating. Fuck the kids. You want to kick my prenup out? The kids are not getting anything to eat. You can tell who the mothers are and who the fathers are. Q Love does not want these kids to eat. If you can test my goddamn prenup, the kids are eating. Period. All right? That'll learn you. That will learn you. Shout out to damn Q Love. Man, y'all are wilding out. Oh my God. I love you guys so much. Shout out to Bruiser, man. I did a collab with Bruiser yesterday with Darwin. And this white brother came up to ask me some questions. And the white brother was pretty, he felt pretty bad. And he had had a postnup. Prenup, postnup, same thing, but the prenup is signed before the wedding, postnup signed after. Not the judge, but he went to arbitration. He didn't go to trial, he went to arbitration. And the arbitrator, who was an attorney, the arbitrator wasn't even a judge. He was a lawyer. The lawyer kicked his postnup out. So he had a postnup, but the lawyer kicked it out. Why did the lawyer, not the judge, but why did the lawyer kick it out? The lawyer kicked it out because in his postnup, you want to talk about being aggressive. His postnup said, you get the house. They had 8 kids. And the 8 kids were used to living in the house and everything. So he gave the wife the house so that the kids could live in the house. But do you know what he said? He said, if you have sex one time with any man, you're evicted. You gotta get out. No sex on my watch. You cannot go to a hotel and get your back blown out. You're the mother of my kids. Act like a woman. Act like a lady.
This is what I'm saying, right? So you try to put this aggressive stuff in here, it's going to get tossed out. They're not going to listen to that. They're not going to listen to that. So you try to put this crazy stuff in there, these different parameters. You can't have no boyfriends. You can't have sex. You can't even go to a hotel. I can see sex inside the house. Even that's too aggressive, but I can at least see saying that, right? I'm paying this mortgage, whatever. I'm giving you this house. You're going to be getting your back blown out in the house that I paid for, right? Let's see. 8 kids are under 18. That's wild. I didn't know the lawyer had the power to kick out prenups. Yeah, that's what arbitration is. That's what arbitration is. You just go before a lawyer or someone who's certified to do it, who has some legal training, certified to do it, and they'll kick it out. Yeah, yeah, all the time. I'm telling you, I don't have the numbers and stats. And if you watch the previous episode that I did when I had the lead attorney on, please go back and watch that episode. But I don't. It's something like 90% of those prenups that come along are upheld. I think it's something like that. So I guess it's from the statistically it's a good margin, but don't get aggressive and don't get crazy. And this guy in his post-nup obviously he got crazy. Don't do that.
Get kicked out on the street if you have sex one time indefinitely. And the lawyer was like, come on, man. Guys, don't do that, man. Don't do that. Like, I'll be honest with you, men don't like to think about it if we're not with the women. But for women understand this, and men understand it too. We just don't like to acknowledge it. But women and men, but women too, have a biological need for sex. Maybe not with you. But with the Tyrones and the Chads and the Michaels and all these other people, right? They want to have sex. It's a need for everybody. So my white brother was like, now he could have sex. He could move on with his shit. But not her. She could get the fuck out. Oh my God. Y'all are just y'all are wow. Y'all are absolutely wow. I love talking about this, man.
You don't have to answer the question. I'll answer the question. You want to?
All right, that's it from that episode. I think the episode like 6 hours long. I don't know how these brothers do 6-hour episodes. I don't know how they do that. I don't know how they do that. But you can go over to finish watching it. Yeah, he finds it hilarious. I would have found that hilarious too. I mean, because like why would you? I mean, first of all, it's ridiculous to put that in there. It's ridiculous to put that in there. I could see inside the house, don't bring anybody to my house. I got my 8 kids living here. I don't want strange men coming in and out of the house. I could see writing that in there. I don't even know if that would be held up, in all honesty. But when you write this stuff and your lawyer is looking at it, I mean, to me, I would sue my lawyer after that because you allowed me to put this in here. I don't even know if that's possible. You got to talk to lawyers about all this. That's just crazy. Of course you can. I can see why women are inclined to vote for the prenup. 6 hours long, they must be unemployed. Well, some of them, this is their work. I've seen some long streams. I think the longest I've seen was like 13 hours. People was falling asleep, you hear them snoring in the background. I'm like, what is going on here? So yeah, 6 hours is too dang long. Yeah, that's too long. Anyway, so I just wanted to talk about that for a little bit here, to talk about when they can be contested and all this. So you people, guys out here, guys, and I make this content vastly for men, mostly for men, but please understand that you have to be careful as a man to protect yourself, your assets. We still, on average, make more than women. If you have a pension, a 401k, anything else that is valuable, homes and separate properties that are not your own main living home, your main residence, all this type of stuff, you got things to protect. Valuable cars, antique cars. People have collections of guitars. I can remember one time there was a guy I was dealing with, on a police call, and he had a collection of antique guitars, and his woman and his wife wanted half of them. She didn't play the guitar; she just wanted to have them and sell them. And this was breaking this guy's heart because I got this antique collection of stuff, whatever they were, $20,000, $40,000, $50,000, whatever they were, and she's just going to sell them and put them out there. And so, this is something that you got to protect. You got collections of, guys got collections of toys and this and that, and you got stuff you want to protect. You got to protect it. You got to protect it. PG, Passport Bros, and MGTOW are the only things that make sense, sensible, and reasonable. Yeah. All right, so I just want to do that and just talk about that for a little bit. That's it. I just want to review that. So I thought it was a good episode, something for us to all learn about. And I do appreciate you guys coming up. I hope everybody's Thanksgiving that is coming up is going to be great and fantastic and all that kind of stuff. And make sure y'all answer the poll question here. Make sure you go over there. Yeah, you can certainly go over there and buy me a sandwich. Again, the poll questions, there's A, B, C, and D. I didn't put them on here, but We only have a few votes in here. Make sure you get over there and vote. If you're watching this now, make sure you vote. And if you're watching this in the future, just let us know your thoughts and your opinions. If a man is going to get married, he should A, have a prenup, B, have a commitment or ceremony or a spiritual ceremony, C, man up or just sign the license, or D, forget marriage in the West. Which one should a man do? Make sure y'all go over there and answer the poll. And so yeah, well, it's only been an hour. If you guys don't want to talk about anything else, I'll give you guys a few more minutes. I just got off a 7-day fast and lost 20 pounds. Okay, nice. Was it just water or what? How did you do that? Was it just water or juice? Some people do the juice fasts and all that kind of stuff. Do you do that in preparation for Thanksgiving so you can eat like a glutton? Is that what you do? Yeah. I've been meaning to do that for a long time. Just kind of clearing out my system. Maybe I'll do that for the new year, reset my system there with a fast. I'm drinking a protein shake right now. That's my breakfast and lunch. I'm trying to get back to just eating twice a day and eventually get back down to once a day. So once the holidays hit. So trying to get back to that. And I bought an elliptical. That's coming on Saturday. So I'm looking to that. Looking forward to that. No food, period. I lived on water, tea, black coffee, and apple cider vinegar. And lost 20 pounds. Okay, nice. And that was, would you say that was 20 days? Would you say? 7-day fast. 7-day fast. Okay. Green juice fasts are the best. Yeah, I eat. Yeah. We all like to eat, brother. I start my meat fast next month. I don't eat a lot of meat anyway. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad you guys are on it, man. Health is important. Health is definitely important. We only get one go around in this life, and to go through it miserable, dissatisfied, angry, upset, anxious, depressed, incarcerated is just no way to be going through life. You only get one, so make sure it's the best one. Throw in lifting, swimming, and switch between ice showers and a hot tub. Can you really lift when you're doing that? You can't do that. Well, you can probably do it after 7 days, but you can't do a sustained fast for 20 days and be lifting weights. I mean, you're not giving your body the carbs to get it done. Even swimming too, which is crazy, which is a crazy workout. Let's see. You guys are sticking around. Let's see what else I got here that was on my to-do list here. Let's see here. What else is on my to-do list? Let's go to my history here. See what I got my history to play here. Oh, this one was sent to me. Okay, I can imagine it was because you're not getting any energy. One thing you got to do when you're lifting weights, you got to have the carbs to fuel your workouts. So, and then you got to eat the protein after you could probably drink the protein after, but to me, I like to eat it. So I've always liked to eat the protein rather than protein drinks and stuff. So I've been incorporating cucumber, green apple, and lemon juice in my diet lately, and I love it. It's so refreshing. Yeah, I was getting into that. In the summertime, I was heavy into cucumbers. I was heavy into it. I should get back into that. Walk in the pool. My favorite: celery, cilantro, ginger, green apple, and cucumber. Yeah. Those are all good. Those are all good. It was about inducing autophagy. Autophagy. I don't know what that is. I gotta look that up. Okay. So we played a video the other day. We'll keep going with this. We played a video the other day with George Frazier, and somebody sent me this. Actually, Nita sent it to me. She's always sending me something. Shout out to her. So we'll do this one here about why don't we respect our elders? Why don't we respect our elders?
Author and speaker, Dr. George Frazier, give a masterclass on how to network, sustaining a marriage, and achieving your goals. Watch the full exclusive ad-free reasoning now, only on www.iNeverKnewTV. Impressed.
We'll try to get through that.
Game or having positive, informative conversation. So I wanted to salute you for that. And I wanted to ask, when did you understand the importance of elders transferring or sharing information with the younger generation?
But older people have always been extraordinarily important to me. Even as a young person, I really like hanging around old people. Don't ask me why. I don't know why I was attracted to them. But now that in hindsight, I do know why, because that's where the wisdom was. And I was always sort of a quiet kind of guy. I love to listen and I love to read. And I love to sort of sit at the feet of masters, to sit at the old folks. And I didn't really want to be around a lot of young people. I don't know if that's DNA. I don't know if that's God. But as I reflected, it was obviously preparing me for something. Except at that time, I didn't know why. I was just very, very, very interested in it. And so it disturbs me today, quite frankly. And I'm giving lectures on this. There really is a lack of focus and a lack of respect for our elders. There's no question about it. They are not cherished among African Americans like they are in other cultures. I mean,
so I think that this can play into, because when we talk about, one of the questions was asked before about, how do we get into this situation where our divorces are up, where we started needing prenups, etc. This plays into it. Our respect for the past is not there. I mean, besides, some famous individuals from our history, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Marcus Garvey, you can name, some other men and women in there. What do we think about our parents and grandparents, those who weren't famous? How much reverence do we have for them? They are the ones who kept our history alive, our family alive, and the culture, I'm saying. And so when we forget about them, right, this gives into the rise of what we're dealing with now in this time, right? When these individuals come here from, particularly immigrants come here from these other countries, they bring within their culture, their history, and their desire to do what, to progress. And, many of us have outsourced the caring of our elders to other people, putting them in the nursing homes I'm talking about, where other individuals don't do that. And for a long time, we couldn't do that. So again, my point is, the more we have become accustomed to and entered into this age of moving up into the middle and upper middle class, the more culture and respect for our elders we've lost. And therefore, our divorce rates are up. And therefore, there's refusal to get married. And therefore, we're focusing more on money than on our children, and more on money than the furtherance of our communities. It's becoming an individualistic, me, and we are. I'm going to stop saying we've fallen into that. We've been fell into that, and we're scraping the bottom of the barrel financially because we have not understood the value of the elders, the value of culture, the value of respecting each other's kids, the value of respecting each other's elders, right? We've all told the stories about how we would be walking home from school and we would see Miss Johnson on the block or Miss Roberta over here, and they knew our parents, right? Right? When we don't respect other people, the aunts and uncles and the elders in our community, we don't respect them in our own families, and then that respect then transfers out into the community. This is how we get the situation that we're in. How do we? And the question is, how do we get out of that? The question is it possible to get out of that? And I'm seeing more and more videos popping up on my feed that are saying it's done, it's over, it can't be fixed. It's disheartening to me to think that way. It's disheartening to me to think that way. Let's see here. Let's see. I like when you and Anita converse. You two should collab for a show again. Yeah, Anita's on my list. She's doing a lot right now. But Anita and I text almost every day, so we are definitely good. And I'd like to have her back on. We got to find something good to talk about. I don't want to have her just to have her on, but I'd like to have us to have something good to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about that. What I just talked about. What's it going to take to save the community? and I disagree with Anita about this. About she is Christianity first rather than race first. Matter of fact, that's what we'll do. I'm going to ask her about that. We'll do a show about that. Just because you asked, October, we'll do Christianity first or race first. We're going to do that one. So we're gonna I know I'm gonna have to text her after the show. I'm like, we still cool? All right. Let's see. Start drinking pine needle tea. The safe ones though, beware toxic kinds. It's all these different teas out here. I don't know what they do. I didn't even know there was a pine needle tea. I never do that. Had a convo with a friend about this last week. In the South, it's second nature to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. Pull pants up, take off your hat, etc. But that same respect rarely goes for the male elders. Right. So they respect the ladies down there, but they don't respect the men. And I was watching something. I don't know if it's in my history, talking about the men and why men aren't respected. Actually, no, I was watching another YouTuber, the Angry Man, and he was talking about that. I think it was a clip. So I got to see. Anyway, so yeah, so that's interesting that people are acknowledging that there's a certain amount of reverence and respect that goes towards the ladies that does not go towards the men, and that's something we got to take a strong look at, because if we don't respect our own men, if the ladies in our community and the men don't respect our own men, if you take your hat off in the presence of a lady, you don't take your hat off in the presence of a man who should have some authority and etc., then that shows that there's a dynamic missing. And I can remember in the PD, again, this is my frame of reference, right? When you walked into the supervisor's office, you took your hat off, right? So when I first came on the police department, we always had to wear our hats. That's not a thing anymore in most police departments, but we always had to wear our hats. No matter where we went, every time you got out the car, that was the way the policy was written. Every time you got out the car, you had to have your hat on. And so, but when you walked into the building, you still had to have it on, or you didn't have to, but nobody really enforced it. But when you went in the supervisor's office, you had to take it off, and that showed respect for the supervisor. Male, female supervisor, male, female officer, or person of a lower rank. So again, if we have given ladies within our culture, and I'm not saying they're not deserving, I'm saying that if you are giving that respect to an elder woman, why would you not give it to an elder man? Why would you not give it to an elder man? Anita's still trying to convince men to get into the contracts commitments that don't favor them. Again, she and I disagree about that. and we text about it. We text about it all the time. So I get it. And I'm sure she can be found. I just grabbed it off a tree. I researched the species first, pine needle tree. What does pine needles do? What does, all these different teas do all this different stuff. So tell us what they do. Let's see. I don't know what they do. Stay with the pine needles such as Panderosa. I don't know. Okay, well, you got all that, man. I don't know what they do. People always tell me teas and stuff about drink this for anti-inflammatories, drink this for. I had a doctor told me to drink hibiscus tea, all this different stuff. So tell me what they do. African American elders are often revered. Okay. Careful with some teas; they can be toxic. On this tea kick here. I drink mint, ginger, and Earl Grey teas. I drink right now I'm drinking French vanilla tea. I'm drinking that. That's what I usually drink in the wintertime. French vanilla. I don't know if it does anything specifically, but authority responsibility is tyranny. Responsibility without authority is slavery. No man is willing to put on chains. Fennel tea, it's a good diuretic and helps your vision. Fennel tea. Okay. I have to check that out. Fennel tea. Hibiscus is very high in vitamin C and good for your blood pressure. It tastes good. It does taste good. You don't need a lot of sugars with the hibiscus tea. You're right about that, or any type of sweetener, I should say. Where am I at here? Do a whole podcast for teas and benefits. Listen, we should, man. Listen, health is everything here, right? So, all right, here we go.
You can go to the continent. You can go to Asia. You can go to East India, and there's really nothing of significance that is done without counseling with the elders. We just don't do that. We just look at elders as old people, and most of the time we do not defer to them. We do not showcase them in our conferences. I'm different in that way. I love talking to, having fireside chats with older folks. So the conference that we just had, we had 4 or 5 elders that we had long conversations with. Everybody from Ben Vereen, the great actor and theater award-winning, theater performer, Tony Award-winning theater performer. He's an elder. He's close to 80. Les Brown, who's the same age as I am, I had a fireside chat with him. Les and I are both 80, and so I just think it's important that we focus on that going forward. There's just so much working knowledge and experience. Now, don't get it twisted. Not everybody that's old is wise, but there are enough wise women and wise men that we really need to be featuring and focusing on them more as we gather. So there should be panels of elders. So let's say 3 elders, 2 males and a female, and 3 young people one from each generation, whether it's X, Y, or Z, and having a conversation, seeking advice and counsel, providing points of view. I think that would be very, very important and very, very powerful. And I'm hoping that we will evolve to that. I hope that I'd like to really start a social media campaign championing elders. In fact, I already have a working title for that social media campaign. We call it a slogan. That is, wisdom is the new flex. Wisdom is the new flex. So I'm going to spend a significant amount of my remaining.
So he called that the wisdom is the new flex. Let me tell you, there is a talk about anti-intellectualism within America, and I think it's also hit the Black community too, where they don't respect elders, don't respect those who have certain credentials. So I can understand what he's saying. I hope that this is not a thing that goes on, but I'd like to give a lot more respect to our elders as well. I think that is important. Make sure you hit the like button.
Championing those of us in our culture who's contributed so much, who have a body of work and should not be pushed aside, but should be focused on, as every major cultural group in the world does this for their elders, except African Americans.
I wanted to elaborate on that concept of working knowledge. Me and my brother had a conversation in regards to the loss of recipes because there's a disconnect. It's a simple concept, but it's pretty deep if you think about it. A lot of recipes are not being transferred. That plays a big role in regards to family
Are recipes
culture.
not being transferred because people don't know how to cook anymore? Because we are because we are, again, you talk about marriage and how we got to this particular place about prenups and stuff. This is the loss of culture. Recipes not being transferred. People don't know how to change a tire, right? Something if your father didn't do it, somebody in the community should know how to do it. Check oil. All these different types of things from the male perspective and from the female perspective have not been transferred down because we don't respect our elders. So that's their contention. So it's just something to consider is why this is going on. And again, we talk about the loss of recipes as he's about to elaborate on. People aren't cooking like they used to. They make videos about they're glad that they are in a place where they are ordering DoorDash and other kind of foolishness, right? And so you want people to sign up for that? You want people to sign up for that? I'm just going to DoorDash everything. I'm going to send my laundry out. To my question, what makes you more palatable, more likable, more desirable for marriage if you don't do anything that women used to do? Yes, the same could be said about men. If the men aren't doing anything, but the men are still expected to do these things. Everything a man is expected to do from the 1920s, 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, he's still expected to do in 2025. But it seems to be a flex when women can't do it. I don't cook. I don't cook. I don't clean. I send my laundry out to get laundered, and so what? And so what? So, Better Love Movement is in the building. I don't know, she might be catching up here. She texted me a little while ago. She must have heard y'all talking about her. So, Anita, if you're here, the folks in here want us to have another show, and I was thinking we should do a show about whether you should be pro-black or pro-Christian. I'm asking you if you want to do that. Pro-black or pro-Christian, or do they necessarily have to be antagonistic and all that? So I'm just kind of throwing that out there. Of course, you are always welcome to come up with an idea, but I want us to have something great to talk about. Many of these recipes are time consuming. Some of them are. I mean, if you're going to make cornbread from scratch and you got to marinate stuff for 6 hours and all that, I get that. I get that. But again, Thanksgiving's coming up. Christmas is coming up. New Year's, we do a big New Year's dinner. I don't know if everybody else does that. So these are 3 holidays that are coming up. You should have these different type of macaroni and cheese recipes, and how you make your potato salad, and how all these different types of things. You should have those recipes. And that's why it's just bothersome to me when I hear a woman say, I don't cook, I don't clean, I don't do none of that. Well, what do you do? So yeah. Sister need to cook from scratch. Yeah. She's made that clear. She's made that clear to me. Y'all know my loyalty. Okay, we just have the conversation, Anita. I know what your stance is, but we're just entering in a time here where we're talking about families and formation, and for Black folks get together and divorce and how we stop that. And right now, the video that we got up playing is about them talking about family recipes and the elders and history and culture. Does all that mean anything? That's just what I want to talk about. So I don't want to go into it too much right now, but it's something for us to think about. Does any of this mean anything? Do the recipes mean anything? Do our dances mean anything? Do the way that we dress, our vernacular, the movies we watch, does that mean anything? Or should we just continue our assimilation into a completely different group of people? And I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying you can't do it with Christianity. I've certainly had a I come from my church background and all that, but that's something we could talk about it another time. Let's see here. All right, let's continue on with this.
Family connection, family experience. So I think that's a great example of what you said, working knowledge,
Yeah. That's a very important point of view. One of the reasons I fell in love with Nora Jean, who I've been married to for 52 years, same sister for 52 years, is that she came from a really solid, let's call it old school family. Her father was a postal worker, her mother worked in a department store. And she collected, old recipes from mom, making mom's biscuits and rolls and how she did her main dishes and all. I mean, so yeah, I think that's very, very, she loves cooking. She has 100 cookbooks. But in those cookbooks are pieces of paper of her favorite recipes from mom. And so, yeah, and it's something as simple as that, quite frankly, that really, I think, demonstrates the importance of transference of knowledge, respect for elders, and learning what they have learned. Yes, things have been modernized, things do change, but the fundamental principles of life remain the same. Especially if you meet old school folks, they do it right. They do it with vim and vigor, and they do it with a sense of, I'm passing this down onto you, and hopefully you'll pass it to my grandchildren. And it sounds sort of old fashioned, but it is really an important part of cultural transference, and a respect for those who have gotten us to where we are. And they got it from their parents. I got it from my parents, and I passed it on to my sons and granddaughters. And I just think that that should not be looked as something old and outdated. It should be looked as aged and treasured.
So that's that from that particular video. I just put in the chat. Let's see. Anita said we completely lost our culture. Ratchet is our culture now. So that reminds me of a video that I did. Where's it at? So I just put this in the chat here. So you can go over and watch a video I did about ratchet feminism. And yeah, so I definitely agree. You know, and how do we get to this place? In it's loss of culture, it's a loss of respect for our elders, it's the loss of simple things, passing down recipes, passing down, you know, how it is to dress. And again, if you lose respect for your elders and you don't take your hat off in their company, you don't mind what they say, not only your own um, parents and grandparents, but your aunts and uncles as well, and then transfer that same type of respect out into the community. You know, that's why at my church we call everybody sister and brother. I'm sure that other churches did the same thing, right? You know, everybody was a sister or brother, and you didn't want to call them by their first name, right? People calling adults by their first name as kids. This all leads to an overall crumbling of the foundation of respect in culture. And so this is how we get to this particular place. So much so that if you click on the video that I put up here, it's another from my other channel, it's still up there. They're still talking about you know, how do we get this in the college classes and all that, right? And they just did University of Washington did a video, excuse me, did a talk about OnlyFans and how this is becoming more acceptable. So, you know, from ratchet feminism to OnlyFans being taught, or at least having a time to be talked about at Washington University in classes, this all leads to the destruction of our communities, ours in particular, because we have not kept that way. If you have not watched this video too, let me put this one in the chat here. Let me see if I can find it here. It's a video. I know I talked about this another time. Why this is done in parts. I think this is it. Why's my computer running so slow? What's up with this? Too many tabs open here. There's another video too. Black people still don't get it by Dr. Barbara Sizemore. I definitely recommend people go over there and watch that video. Watch that video before you watch mine, that other one I put up. But make sure you watch that video too. Let's see. We need to raise up our elders with respect. Agreed. I'm going to compound butter. Y'all still talking about recipes. Let's see. The uptick in the use of profanity is alarming to me. Women use it like it ain't nothing. Gentlemen, please avoid women with tattoos, piercings, and a filthy mouth. Listen, there's been a lot of videos going on here about the masculinity that's going on. A lot of people are talking about that women are overly masculine now. Women are overly masculine now, and the men are not. And men are too feminine. A lot of people are talking about it. White people, black people, everybody's talking about it. It's crazy. I'm talking about butter. Anita, I know some ladies that will outclass Dice Clay. Sheesh, yeah. These women, I pray every day that our young black brothers turn this around. Brothers turn this around. I think what the young black brothers are going to do, I think what these young black brothers are going to do is going to completely ignore these ladies. That's what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to completely ignore these ladies. And I don't know, you know, because this is just crazy that is going on here. Let's see if I can find another video. I was watching a video the other day. Let me see if I can find it see if it's in my history here about the masculinization of women. Actually, no, it was another video I wanted to play. Anyway, so I think I'll leave it off there. But there's a lot of videos that are popping up on my feed, and why men are refusing to approach women, refusing to date, rather sending video games, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah. All right. I think they will overlook these ladies too. Yeah. Yeah. All right, y'all. So thanks. We can talk about teas and butter biscuits and who makes the best butter. Yeah, what is this quarter zip trend? What is this? What is that? I saw you put that in a quarter zip trend. What is that? I don't know what that is. Explain what that is to us, Anita, please. Women emulate the worst quarter characteristics of men. That's what's called the quarter zip trend. Women emulate the worst characteristics of men. I mean, if Freud were alive, he'd be having a field day with what's going on. Look it up on Instagram. Um, Freud would be having a field day with the amount of women who are, in my estimation, just a bunch of penis envy. It's just crazy. I'm looking this up. A quarter zip trend. Quarter zip trend is women hating men in suits. Wow, that's crazy. I never heard that one. It's always something new, huh? Quarter zip, because they only zip their pants up a quarter the way. Well, I don't understand what that refers to. Some of the stuff what is this? I'm trying to find something here that is quarter zip trend. That doesn't have music playing on it. That's I don't know. All right, I'm gonna have to look this up here because nothing's popping up that I can see. At least that doesn't have music to it. So most Western women are a bunch of okay. That's wild. Searching on Instagram and YouTube. It's bringing style back to young black men. All right, so I think that this might be what you're talking about here. We'll play this one here. Um, we'll play this one here. Add to the screen here. Share screen. Instagram. We're gonna have to mute this though. There's music playing in the background here, and I don't want it to get demonetized. So he's putting away his jogging suit or jumper, whatever you guys call it, and putting on some boots. His boots need a shine to it. You gotta put some shine to them boots. I don't like looking at dusty suits. Dusty boots, I should say. A tie don't match. What's up? What's good with that? That tie's not working, brother. All right, they still got to get rid of his bags. Listen, you're gonna have a bag, man. You got to throw them up over your shoulder. I mean, walking down the street with your hands tied up with these bags is not gonna work for me. All right, let's see what else we got here. What else goes on with that? Let's see. I guess this is quarter zips trend. Let's see what this one is. Oh, so it's the okay, so it's the sweatshirts there. The sweaters, quarter zip sweaters. Okay, I got you. I got you. I got it. Turning YNs into gentlemen. I got you. Okay, I can rock with that. This one it says how quarter zip ninjas settle beef. Yeah, they got music playing. I can't play it. So they settle beef over a game of chess. I can rock with this. I can get with this. I can get with this. I can get with that. All right. So that's that. That's what that is. Okay. Thank you so much for enlightening us. Let's see. Better dressing better does not make one classy nor gentleman. No, it does. It does play a part. It does play a part. When you look a certain way, you're gonna act a certain way. When you look a certain way, your command presence is definitely tied to how you're going to act. Ain't nobody gonna be robbing the store or shooting at each other with they got a tie on and dressed a certain way and some shoes instead of some sneakers, right? There is regalia, there is attire that certain people use for criminal activity. That definitely is a thing. How you dress can affect how you feel about yourself and how people see you. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. All right. So that's that. I appreciate y'all showing up here. Let's continue the conversation. So if you have not gone over and hit the votes here for the one more time, if you're watching this in the future. So for a man to get married, he should A, have a prenup, B, have a commitment or spiritual ceremony, C, man up and just sign the license, or D, forget marriage in the West. Make sure you hit the poll. If you watch this in the future and you cannot access the poll, at least write down your thoughts, your opinions at the bottom so we know where you stand. And yeah, and all that. And I'm definitely in line with bringing back our culture, understanding our culture. I'm in line with the quarter zip trend. I'm good. I'm good with that. I definitely agree that how you dress affects and at times reflects how you will act in certain times, certain people, certain circumstances. You're not going to put on a quarter piece of garment and then still, go out there and do criminal activity. Does it take time to change and to adjust? Should you have things that are otherwise going on for you, going to school, starting a business, writing a business plan? Of course, you should do all those, do the inner work as well. No doubt about that. You should do the inner work as well. So, but yeah, we need to start somewhere. Y'all have a great day. Hit the like button on your way out. Answer the poll. Yes, I appreciate that as always, Rhonda. Yeah. Well, they're still acting like pricks now with the suits on. I mean, they're still acting like jerks now in the suit. I mean, these people who were plotting, World War III and attacking Venezuela and whatever's going on with Russia and still dealing with Iran and all this type of stuff, right? And still plotting for the ICE agents to be kicking in doors. Those people got on suits, but the people who are actually doing it are not wearing suits. So yeah, so it definitely matters. It definitely matters. Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all. Y'all have a great day. Take care of yourselves. I won't see you guys until after Thanksgiving. You guys enjoy your Thanksgiving, enjoy your family. And again, I'm going to say, like I said before, if your family stresses you out, make sure your peace is the most important thing that goes on with that. I understand people want to, feel an obligation to go around family and this, that, and the other for Christmas and the holidays and for Thanksgiving and all that. But again, if your bank account can't handle Christmas gifts, and if you are feeling more stressed and more anxious about being with family and enjoying the time and the season, then I suggest you rethink what you're doing and who you're hanging out with. And you don't have to do it all the time. So, all right, y'all. Have a great one. Talk to you. Much love and peace.